Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
El Toro is on a roll, Bucco fans. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with J Dash and JK47. Thanks for tuning into The Spread. Dash, you love Pedro. You think the Buccos should give him a Giancarlo Stanton contract, right?
No, I disagree with that. Josh Bell is our first baseman of the future for sure, and Pedro is going to be leaving pretty soon.
See, you didn't have that same thought last year. You thought Pedro was long-term third base.
Yeah, until Josh Harrison broke out, but I like Josh Harrison at third base. And really, I just said, I didn't really say sign him long-term, definitely. I just said let it play out. People have been wanting to sign Pedro Alvarez for the past, 5 years? I mean, you got to let him play his contract out a little bit.
I never wanted him to sign him. Kick him to the curb.
But people wanted to sign him after 2013. His average was only 233 with a 296 on base, but he hit 36 jacks with 100 RBIs, 70 runs, 48 walks. He did strike out 186 times over 558 at bats, though. But really, that was a huge year for him, and he was a huge help in the Pirates turning around their losing streak and making the playoffs.
That was the year he had a big playoff series, right, against the Cards?
Yeah, exactly. So everybody wanted to sign him, but then last season, just 231 with a 312 on base. See, the on base got higher, and the average was pretty much similar, but he only had 18 home runs, 56 RBIs, 46 runs. His walk rate even got better, 45 walks with 113 Ks and 398 at bats. It was just limited playing time because he had so much trouble on the field he couldn't throw to first base anymore.
You got that old Chuck Knobloch's disease.
Chuck Knobloch was a beast at one point. I used to love that dude, and then he turned into a moron.
CKD.
I mean, you can't throw from second base. That's ridiculous.
Who was that, Rube Baker? He couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher?
Fredericks of Hollywood, baby.
So he had a bad season, but Josh Harrison broke out, like we said, and became the third baseman. And now this season, Pedro moving over to first base. He's hitting the ball, right now, 247 with a 325 on base, 9 jacks already, 25 RBIs, 25 runs. He's taken 18 walks already, 40 Ks and 146 at bats. So right now, if he ended the season with a 247 average and a 325 on base, that would be the best since his rookie season. So he's hitting the ball better than ever right now. And if you remember in last night's game, the Pirates went up 2-0 on San Diego. They ended up losing the game 6-2. But Pedro actually went the other way on a ground ball to drive in too. And he never used to go the other way. He'd always pull the ball. And actually, they'd use heavy shifts against him. And if he can start going the other way, you could see that average move up a little bit.
Yeah, I did notice he's been able to go the other way a few times this year when they put that hard shift on him. Slap a little ball out into left field.
And he's been starting to drive in some more runs recently because of it as well.
He's still garbage.
But look, the 479 slugging percentage he currently has and the 804 on base plus slugging, they would be the highest numbers in his career. So right now, I'm saying he's back to his 2013 form and maybe even better because his walk rate is getting better each season. Over the past 3 years, he's been getting better at taking a walk. And right now, he's on pace for 30 home runs and 84 RBIs. I know the 84 RBIs is less than 100, but he hasn't had as many chances so far. And remember, the Pirates as a team weren't hot. So when they're all rolling, he's going to have more RBI chances. Although he's had some chances this season where he's struck out to end the inning with men on base. I seen a stat in yesterday's game. It said with the bases loaded, he was batting well over 300 in his career, and that's when he drove in those 2 runs. So it actually went up. So when the bases are loaded, he can hit the ball well.
I don't think I've ever used hit the ball well and Pedro Alvarez in the same sentence. 47, what do you think? This guy's got a low average, high power. Is it somebody you want in your lineup when, to me, he's more of a liability on the field than anything?
But what if he gets it done whenever it matters? There's just some guys are just classic clutch players. Take David Ortiz, for instance. I mean, if this guy gets it done when you need him to, and obviously a lot of the times he has. So,
he's too streaky for me. He's doing real good right now, but then he could go over a month where he hits 182 and 1 jack.
Well, I'll tell you what, in May he's hitting 266 with a 372 on base, 5 jacks. He's taken 14 walks with 22 Ks and 79 at bats. So over the entire month he's hitting the ball pretty well. So if you're going to get a streak of a month, I mean, I'd take that any day out of him. And who knows, maybe he turned the corner. With all these walks, he's starting to see better pitches. He's starting to drive the ball the other way. Now, he is on a 15 for 42 streak. He's hitting well over 300. That's going to slow down a little bit. That's been a 12-game span. But you say he's a liability at first base. Right now, he is because he's still learning the position. But if you look, in 2014, his fielding percentage was .924 at third base. And that's why he only had 398 at-bats last season, because they had to find ways to sit him and get other people in the lineup, especially Harrison by season's end. But this season, he has a .987 fielding percentage. So it's way up. Now, I know first basemen don't make as many errors as third basemen. That's why you moved him over to first in the first place, to hide his defensive deficiencies. But you can deal with almost a 99% fielding percentage.
Why do the Pirates take him out in late innings when there's, a big hit on the line? They don't always seem to leave him in there. They don't trust him, especially against lefties.
Well, yeah, against lefties, he's had enough at bats in his career to show that he can hit lefties too, and he just hasn't been able to do it. So really, he's a platoon player. Now, you're going to get a lot of at bats over a season versus righties as a lefty batter, but yeah, he just can't hit lefties. So you're going to see that late in games. But really, it's putting Sean Rodriguez at first base to put in defense late in the game is what you really want. For now, anyways, until he gets better defensively.
Too many ifs for me with Pedro, but I guess he's the best for what you got right now, so you got to roll with it.
Well, listen, he's been playing just as well as he has in 2013, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. I don't know what you're talking about. It's what you can get right now. This guy was an all-star in 2013.
He won't keep this up through the course of the year. It's just not going to happen.
What isn't he going to keep up?
His batting. His average is going to drop. He's not going to have as many home runs.
Well,
he's
listen,
going to
even
start
if it
striking out
drops,
more.
Why is all this going to happen?
Because that's what he's done throughout his career. That's what he's shown.
No, it hasn't.
Career.
In 2013, he broke out, hit 36 jacks with 100 RBIs. Last season, he was still on pace for mid to high 20s in home runs. He just couldn't stay on the field because he had defensive problems. Now he doesn't have to worry about the defensive problems, and he's hitting the ball like even better than he did in 2013. Now, I agree, his average is going to go down a little bit, but still, he was an all-star in 2013, and that's the numbers he's going to give you.
He strikes out too much.
His strikeout numbers is going to be way down from 2013. That's
Actually,
where he's
they
improving.
his strikeout numbers do look a lot better this year. I will give him that.
And look, in 2013, he took 48 walks, 186 Ks, and 558 at-bats. This year, he's on pace to take 61 walks and just have 493 at-bats. So he got better plate discipline. Even if his average drops, he's still got the same power. It's all there.
I just don't think it's going to consistently go.
It's definitely not going to consistently go.
No, and it didn't in 2013 either. He is a very streaky player.
When he gets on it. Whenever he's cold, he's just off. And then one day it'll just click for him, and then it'll be hot for a month.
But I tell you what, I like to see a 266 average with a 372 on base over a course of a full month, because that means he's been playing good baseball for a long streak of time. But moving forward, I think he's back to his all-star caliber self. Now, not as a first baseman, because first base is a lot deeper than third base is, or at least was back 2 years ago when he was an all-star. So I don't see him becoming an all-star this season, probably never, unless he really hits 40 home runs, has 110 RBIs or something. But I believe he's hitting the ball just as well as he did in 2013. 47, what do you think? Yes? No? Is he half as good as he was? 2 times as good?
No, I still think he's as good, if not maybe a little bit better. I like the walk rate increase. His strikeout rate's getting a little bit better. He still strikes out a little bit more than what you'd like him to.
He's always going to strike out more than you want.
I'm definitely going to take the power, though. Right now, we need that. They're in a little bit of a short supply with it. Marte being the only one really consistently hammering pitches this season.
But yeah, he has 10 RBIs over his last 12 games, so he's really on an RBI roll right now. And even if it was a 12-game stretch, you remember back 2-3 years ago, his stretches used to last 4 or 5 games, and that's it.
As long as he keeps it up.
The end of June, we'll do another Pedro segment, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, we'll do that.
I hope he has a big night out in San Diego tonight. Alvarez is 1 for 5 with a triple against tonight's starter Tyson Ross. So
we'll see. Maybe he'll just punch him in the face. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you guys for coming in studio. Thank you, fans, for listening. You guys can follow us on Twitter at bet_thespread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the website at thespreadnews.simplesite.com. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to that YouTube channel.